So now let's move on to exploring various methods for deriving these scopes. There are no hard and fast rules for defining OAuth 2 scopes. It really depends on specific requirements and nature of the project. However, based on my experiences, I can share some valuable advices on how to approach this. When defining OAuth 2 scopes, there are multiple approaches you can take. You might define scopes derived from the business processes, from the structure of your REST APIs, or based on access management methodologies like RPAC, role-based access control in hierarchical organizations. Additionally, it's crucial to consider audit and compliance requirements. Often the best approach is to use a combination of these methods to create a comprehensive and effective scope strategy. Business-aligned scopes. One method is to derive scopes directly from the business processes. Scopes should reflect your business logic, aligning with core functions. For example, in an e-commerce platform, you could have scopes like orders view, products manage, and customers read. These clearly correspond to key business operations, making it obvious what each scope controls. REST APIs. Another approach is to align your scopes with your REST API structure. Each API endpoint, such as a get orders or post products, should correspond to a specific scope like orders read or products write. This method ensures that your access control is directly tied to the actions users can perform within the API. Role-based access control. You can also design scopes based on the roles within your organization, especially in hierarchical environments. For instance, an admin role might have access to all scopes, such as order read and products write, while a customer service role might be restricted to only orders read. This role-based approach ensures that users have the appropriate level of access based on their job functions. Audit and compliance requirements. Finally, consider audit and compliance requirements when defining your scopes. In some cases, you might need to separate actions like adding and updating products into different scopes to ensure that each action can be tracked and audited. However, it's important to balance this with the need to avoid unnecessary complexity. Sometimes a single scope with detailed logging may be more practical. In practice, you will often use a combination of these methods to define your scopes effectively. By considering business logic, API structure, role-based access control, and compliance needs, you can create a robust and flexible system for managing access through OAuth 2 scopes. The last thing I want to mention in this lesson is a reference to our previous demo. If you remember, we saw through the URL that the OAuth 2 client Photobee used the files read-write all scope to manage resources on the OneDrive resource server. Within Microsoft Graph, you can explore all the other scopes Microsoft defines to access resources from OneDrive. They also provide this important notice here. As a best practice, request the least privileged permissions that your application needs in order to access data and function correctly. Requesting permissions with more than the necessary privilege is poor security practice which may cause users to refrain from consenting and affect your application's usage. And if we scroll down here, we can explore all the scopes available to clients. If I search here for the scope that Photobee uses, files read-write all. So here we see it with the display text. Have full access to all files user can access. And the description that users see allows the app to read, create, update, and delete all files as assigned in user can access. That concludes our discussion on OAuth 2 scopes. In the next lesson, we will briefly explore the differences between an OAuth 2 access token and an OAuth 2 refresh token. Stay tuned.